What's up everyone, it's Endymion, and there's been some concerning updates surrounding Disney and all the chaos surrounding the House of Mouse. From entire studios being laid off to the Snow White controversy somehow continuing to get worse. It's impressive how bad everything is going over there. So I figured to begin we start with the hottest story concerning this, which is of course Snow White herself, Rachel Zegler. To quickly give you the backstory, basically Disney hired this somewhat new actress to portray Snow White. She admitted that she didn't like the original movie and found the love story within it to have, as she puts it, stalker vibes. She, alongside her co-star Gal Gadot, who will play the evil queen, confirmed that the film, like many other Disney remakes these days, will reject the modern traditional values that they used to represent. It's basically Mulan all over again, but instead of that lead actress supporting concentration camps, this actress is just kind of a dumbass. Anyway, let's look at this exclusive article from Daily Mail titled, "Branding Experts Warn Rachel Zegler Backlash Could Ruin Disney's Big Budget Snow White Remake and Predict Executives Will Be Having Crisis Talks in Order to Win Back Fans Ahead of 2024 Release." So it seems like the backlash surrounding this unnecessary remake is causing Disney's higher-ups to piss their boots and shit their pants, because they know their lead actress probably just doomed their future multi-million-dollar project to fail. Critics are claiming that Rachel Zegler is a fake feminist that gaslights people into her way of thinking, and the 22-year-old actress probably thought she was unbreakable since she emerged into stardom at such a young age. Then we have a branding expert who's worked on big budget projects named Carla Spate, who was asked by Daily Mail to recontextualize what's going on exactly at Disney. She had a lot of interesting stuff to say, and I quote, "Willis, it's been clear that the original Disney princess films hold old values. Disney have fallen for the trap of going to the opposite extreme to inflict strong and loaded messaging on the viewers, believing that's empowerment. There was a time when Disney actors were media trained and were thoughtful about the impact of their words. Willis sticking to key messaging about the films, but it seems with this total rewrite of Snow White, picturing her as a boss girl has gone to the heads of their stars. Disney will need to be careful with how they have portrayed Snow White and what they do and don't allow their actors to say about it going forward. They simply cannot repeat the same mistakes and allow their actors to be so vocal in their own personal opinions during promotions. It can have a huge impact on ticket sales, especially with the amount of negative backlash so early in the promo trail. They need to get the key messaging and strong selling points into a brief for the cast of the film and ensure they stick to it. If they don't, it's a disaster waiting to happen and the backlash will keep growing. It's possibly a good idea to get Rachel to clarify what she meant and highlight it was her own personal opinion, not a slight on women. They should highlight the important message that it's okay to be who you want to be. After all, Disney has been famously telling us that they're the place where dreams do come true, and have never actually defined what those dreams should be, neither should their actors," end quote. I think Carla here speaks with very basic common sense, and I don't mean that in a rude or bad way either. Honestly, if the past few years of Hollywood and fan backlash has taught us anything, it's that common sense isn't very common anymore, especially amongst the million paid actors crowd. That one part about previous actors being media trained is actually so true as well, since I can't really recall any controversy with a Disney film off the top of my head where an actor said something moronic. It's always these young actors in these new modern progressive landscapes that keep pushing their moronic ideas onto people, believing that their way of thinking is gospel or something, not realizing that the majority of their customer base doesn't live in million-dollar homes with personal assistants and free swag bags everywhere they go. Daily Mail also had another analyst chime in on what they think this fiasco is all going to result in. PR expert Nick Eddy had this to say, and I quote, "Rachel is a big-name star playing one of the world's most famous fairy tale characters immortalized by Disney, but instead of taking the lead of The Little Mermaid's Halle Bailey and embracing her role, Rachel has actively chosen to spoil the narrative and express the new direction she has taken Snow White in. This is by no means a wrong move, and Snow White and other stories, if they were written today, would have very different nuances and narratives. But the fact that she's actively being negative about the source material and laughing off the old Disney film and the fairy tale makes her look too eager to show off the new version, and shows little or no respect for the previous version and other iterations. I am sure Disney executives must be having crisis talks and thinking perhaps their new Snow White isn't the best person to promote the film and ensure it is a box office success. The film is due out in 2024, and with the negative narrative that's now surrounding it, they will find it hard to create a magical and positive hype which they ultimately were looking to get having Rachel appear on red carpets. The negative press may entice people to see what all the fuss is about, but unlike the recent Barbie movie, which features brilliant feminist and empowering messages which we only discovered upon viewing, it feels like the cat has been let out of the bag and we already have an opinion of the film thanks to Rachel's narrative, end quote. I think Nick here is right besides saying Barbie is a brilliant feminist movie, but I'll say what Nick and Carla were trying to say while staying professional. Don't worry guys, that's why I'm here. They're basically saying Snow White will be a dumpster fire because Rachel Zegler is a dumbass who's young that's letting fame and fortune get to her head. Honestly, even if Rachel Zegler didn't say the moronic things that she did, I still don't think the film would do well anyways. You just gotta take one look at those few behind the scenes photos we got and it already told us everything that we need to know. The dwarves are normal sized people, mostly, and based on the track record of pretty much most of the Disney remakes, we already know we're in for a woke disaster in the making again. And like always, these young people are trying to shift the blame and make themselves seem like the victim. Rachel Zegler had this to say on her personal Twitter. Sorry, I mean X. Whatever. Anyway, I love you very much, forever and ever. Remember to be kind, treat each other with patience and empathy. Remember that you are loved unconditionally, no matter your mistakes. No matter your misunderstandings, you deserve it, you deserve love, you deserve to live without fear. Oh, Jesus Christ. She then says she wishes the world to be kinder, to which a fan says if she's tired, and Rachel's saying she thinks it's over for her. I don't know if she means Hollywood in general, but this just seems like your typical young person, the world is over cause I made a mistake mentality. I know I'm not super old, I'm almost 31 even though my back feels like it's 70, but I understand that we've all been there and said moronic things before. That being said, playing the victim and fishing for sympathy regardless of age is never a good look. If I could tell this Snow White actress anything, it's that I would just issue a public apology. Straight up, just film yourself saying sorry, saying you know you screwed up, you know what you said was wrong, and you're learning from it. At least attempt to connect to your potential viewer base before you pass the point of no return is what I'm saying. There's also a clip of Zegler going around online of her kind of trying to say that being in her position is hard, but I should preface this video by saying that it's allegedly from around 2 years ago. But even then, the video still kind of fits this narrative well, which is likely why it's being shared everywhere. Anyway, here's that clip by the way in case you want to see it.
I was gonna get taken out of context, and I know that at this point I can't really stop people from doing that because that's what my whole existence on the internet is just me being taken out of context and stuff, which is fine. That's what I signed up for, isn't it? But I never want it to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have when I say that this has been the biggest adjustment of my life, like understanding the way my life operates now, being who I am, and the things that I've been so fortunate to make. It comes with so much ground that I never thought I would be able to cover, and that people think I'm doing poorly and other people think I'm doing gracefully, and I don't think I'm doing it at all. So when I tell you that it's hard, I just mean to be inside my brain. That's hard. And I'm there 24/7. I can't get out of it. And I don't know if that will make sense, but that's where I'm at. I'm so grateful for the things that I'm able to do. And a lot of what I'm able to do is because of you guys. And I'm so unbelievably thankful for that. At the end of the day, I look at this trip and think, if somewhere like that can exist, and so can my tiny pink bedroom from New Jersey, I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me death threats. And maybe that's a weird takeaway for this video. This is a life. This is real. It's filled with a lot of beautiful moments and beautiful people. I have a loving family, an incredible boyfriend that I love so much, beautiful friends and family, people that I miss. It's a privilege to miss people the way that I do, but it's hard. And it's lonely. It's very lonely. I just know that if that loneliness can exist, so can other things, and I will be okay.
While I don't think anything Rachel or Disney does now besides scrapping the entire film and starting over with a new lead will fix much, hopefully this is a lesson to anyone in positions of power to never attack your audience. I honestly sound like a broken record repeating that, but by God does it ring true often. Just stop attacking your audience, Hollywood. Seriously, it could all be so easy for you. But you know what's not easy? Working at a VFX studio in Hollywood. Especially if you work for Disney. From Deadline, we have the article titled, Lucasfilm closing Singapore VFX and animation studio after 2 decades. This massive layoff will reportedly let around 300 staff go as Disney claims it's closing the studio due to consolidating its global footprint and winding down its Singapore studio due to economic factors affecting the industry. Lucasfilm and Disney reps say they are attempting to give these 300 staff members as much heads up as possible, as well as giving them the ability to join their other growing studios under Disney's control. Disney and Lucasfilm will also be hosting a job fair for those affected, with similar companies looking to hire employees with skills that will greatly benefit them. Singapore's reps that work with Lucasfilm assured that these employees will not be left out on their own. They said, the technical and creative skill sets of these employees who are trained across roles such as designers, tech engineers, and tech support staff continue to be in high demand both within the broader media industry and also in other industries that are going digital. So while it's unfortunate the studio is closing, it's good to know at least that the agencies have their backs and will hopefully help these oftentimes overlooked and talented employees a place to land on their feet. As for why Lucasfilm and Disney are doing this, it likely has to do with the recent failures of Indiana Jones and Willow on Disney+. Actually, recently via Forbes.com, they reported about Willow's cancellation and how much it actually cost to make. Disney apparently spent $105 million making Willow before they removed the series from Disney Plus a mere 6 months later. So it's very likely that these VFX artists in Singapore worked on these projects that failed. But it's not their fault, of course, but the leadership that made the sweeping creative decisions. Disney has apparently already gone for the tax cut option in regards to Willow, which basically is a procedure where studios can remove media from their storefronts and get a tax break. The trade-off is that the media in question can no longer be used to make money, so that's why Willow is gone. Apparently, Disney will get around 25% of Willow's budget back in the form of these tax breaks. So that's around $25 million, so they lost around $75 million overall, but I guess that's better than $100 million, but still, the more you know. Although this is a massive blow to Singapore, since the government there wants the country to become the leading entertainment hub for Hollywood VFX, but it's also worrying that Lucasfilm is pushing to reduce their overall operations globally. Could it be because Disney keeps losing money? Probably yeah. But this studio has been working with Disney since the animated Clone Wars cartoons. So yeah, this is not good if you're a fan of anything Star Wars or Lucasfilm in general, really. But it was bound to happen since back in 2021, the actual building these Singaporean VFX artists worked in was actually sold to the company Blackstone Group. Yeah, that Blackstone. I don't think I need to even say more about it because if you know anything about Blackstone, yeah, goddamn dude, another one bites the dust. All I gotta say is, if you don't know who or what Blackstone is, go Google it. They have over $1 trillion in assets and are the biggest alternative investment company in the world right now. But as you can see, this is what happens when you ruin your legacy properties in the never-ending conquest that is today's modern entertainment landscape. Snow White is irreversibly damaged at this point, and hundreds of VFX artists are out of a job right now. And the part that annoys me the most is that it's not the executives or managers that will go hungry, but it's always the faceless everyday workers that pay the price for the decisions of the privileged elite. Just another day in Hollywood, as they say, am I right? Well, thank you for watching, let me know what you think as always, and thank you for the insane response to my previous Baldur's Gate video as well. That was nuts. Like the video to help the channel out, subscribe if you want to, and just thank you for being here. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.